All right, so we are going to begin here going through on Unit 8, which is screw thread representation. So I'm going to be fairly quick with this particular presentation. I want to kind of give you some of the basics of threads and helping you to understand what's going on. So let's start here with an example here of what we're looking at, both on what's referred to as an external thread over here on the left, and internal threads on the right, and of course they are reverse of each other. So again, like everything here, we do have some terminology so that you have to kind of get familiar with what we're talking about in this terminology. So you have a major diameter on the OD of a rod that you would be cutting your thread on, or the major diameter is the depth of the thread over here on your internal. So just kind of keeping that in mind. And of course, the minor diameter on the rod when you're cutting the thread would be the internal part of the thread here, or what we refer to as the root. And of course, the minor diameter on the internal would be basically your crest. So we have some changes here with the actual terminology depending on whether we are talking about an external thread versus the internal thread. So make sure that you're aware of what we're talking about when we talk about major diameter and minor diameter, and then there's a pitch diameter. Now the pitch diameter is an imaginary diameter that's kind of halfway between the minor and the major diameters here, and is actually what the thread rides on when you're making the connection between the external and internal thread. We have what we call the pitch, which the pitch is the distance either from root to root, so which is down here, so root to root, you can see that, or it's the distance from crest to crest. So you can kind of refer to those as well. So the flank, of course, is the side of the thread. That's what's going to be riding on. And then, of course, we have what's referred to as a flank angle and a thread angle that's on here as well. And remember, depending on whether you're talking about an external or an internal thread, some of this terminology might be reversed. So when we talk about the thread forms, there are several different thread forms, the most common of which is what is referred to as the Unified National Standard thread form, and we'll talk about that. And that's basically the shape of the thread and geometry. So a unified thread is the most common, so it's based on the inch. So it has a general appearance of a sharp V with the 60-degree thread angle here. So let's take a look at some other examples here. So this gives you an example of the unified thread. We do have what's referred to as an acme thread, a buttress thread, a square thread, a stub acme, knuckle, and Edison screw. So these are some of the more common there for you to look at, although there are also additional thread patterns and thread forms that are out there as well. One, screws and threads are used for two things. One is for work holding, to hold pieces and parts together. The other function of a thread is to achieve motion or movement. So, and basically we're talking about turning and transferring rotary motion into linear motion here. And all of these threads are capable of doing that. Of course, for work holding, some of these threads work better than the others. And then, of course, for transferring rotary motion to linear motion, or some of the thread forms work a little bit better and are more efficient for that as well. So there are three ways that you're going to kind of see that. So on a print, we have what we refer to as a detailed representation. This shows you the actual threads themselves, so you can kind of see that. So then there's this schematic representation, which is probably one of the easier ways where you are kind of seeing the lines. And then we have what's referred to as a simplified representation, where you have the hidden lines being placed inside there to kind of show the, in this case, the root, or the distance from root to root of the actual thread form itself. So this kind of gives you the way this looks for internal threads in all three of these types of representations, and of course how it would look in a section view when we're actually running the section views there as well. So when we talk about applying dimensions, so this is what you're going to basically be needing to do in the activities, is kind of looking at these, what we refer to callouts, and understanding what needs to be put on there and how they are actually defined. So on the unified thread series, there are two that we're going to be referring to that are most common. The UNC stands for coarse thread, and the UN fine, which is a fine thread. Now, we do get into a couple of others that are a little bit less common. But when we're talking basic nuts and bolts, generally we're either going to be talking about a unified coarse or a unified fine, and that will be called out, and you'll see that there. Our drill and tap charts that you're going to be using also has that. So when you're thinking about the actual diameter, so all of these are based on fractions of an inch. So you'll see based on the fractional size of the external diameter. So you will see two particular thread patterns. So either a UNC pattern or a UNF pattern for that. So when we talk about a half an inch thread, so we could have a half 13 or a half 20. The half 13 would be, of course, the UNC. The half 20 would be the UNF. So this kind of gives you a breakdown. You can take a look at this, showing you the coarse threads per inch. So like here again, we're talking about the half 13 is the UNC, the half 20 would be the UNF. So, and again, when we're talking about the half an inch, that is the diameter. So the 13 stands for threads per inch. The 20 would be threads per inch. There are also three thread classes. So we talk about class 1A, 2A, or 3A. The A, of course, is referencing the external thread, 1B, 2B, and 3B. The B is for internal threads. These classes have to do with the actual fit. A class 1 thread is the loosest class of fit. Most of these are going to probably be class 2, and a class 3 is a very, very tight fit there on that. So pay attention to the actual thread classes. Just know that A and B, A just is a referencing for external threads, B is the reference for internal. So we can talk about multiple threads here as well. Not as common, but the pitch, they do help to screw things on twice as fast or 3 times as fast, depending on the multiple starts that are on there as it's wrapped around the cylinder. Most of these are just going to be single thread starts for most common threads. So potential application for a 2-start or a 3-start thread would be kind of like on submarines, or think about your hatches when you're getting ready to dive in a submarine. You want to drop that hatch and get that screwed down tight as quick as possible, and it's the use of a double or a triple thread that allows that to go faster on there. We also have left-hand threads, so there as well. So now we only call out the left-hand thread when it is a left-hand thread. Right-hand threads are basically left as is. So, and we'll talk about that as we talk about the actual notes that are put on here. So let's take a look now here of the notes. So major diameter in inches is shown first. Then we have the threads per inch, followed by the actual thread form, and then the thread class. So here's another example. So here is the major diameter. So this happens to be 5 threads per inch. This is an Acme thread that they want. It's a class 2A, and in this case, they are saying that this is going to be a left-hand thread. So again, notice that the left-hand thread is, and you're only going to have the call out for a left-hand thread when that is, when it is a left-hand thread pattern. So this is the way we show holes. So here's your diameter. So that's your thread diameter. So this is the depth that that's going. So there you are countersinking that with by 5/8 diameter with 82 degrees countersink. And of course, here is actually the spell out. So for the actual thread form. So they're saying 5/8 is the diameter, 11 threads per inch. This is a unified coarse thread. It is a class 2B, and they want that to go 3/4 of an inch deep. Now, notice in this case, they are also saying to drill that at 17/32 and the depth on that. Typically, if this were just a threaded hole, they wouldn't have that. This would just be spelled out with 5/8 11 UNC. Metric threads are a little bit different. You do need to be aware of these. There is a difference here. So we talk about threads per inch on unified national threads for U.S. customary. On the metrics thread, we talk about a pitch here instead. So we've got a metric series, the M. The 8 is the major diameter, and then this is given the pitch. Now, instead of doing class 1, class 2, class 3, here on the metric side, they give a different tolerance grade and a tolerance position here. And that's going to be probably a little tough to understand and get to know there as well. So as we go through some of the worksheets on that. Pipe threads is another standard type of thread that you'll need to be aware of. So these generally are tapered to help seal things in, because of course if we're working on pipe threads, we got water or fluids, we don't want that to be leaking out. So they do have a different type of thread pattern that they go through for pipe threads. So here's some again, some representations. Nominal size here, what we refer to as an NPT, is one of the common pipe thread types. So, and this just gives you some of the sizes there of your NPT pipe tap threads. So, kind of showing the diameter here. So, with your number of threads per inch, the form, and the pipe series. So, notice that they do have that taper. So, here with this, as well. So we, of course, can generate the schematical representation or any representation we want fairly easily on these computer-generated drawings. So wanted to kind of bring this to your attention, give you that basic so that you understand what we're looking at. And that's going to wrap up this particular lecture on screw threads and thread representation on blueprints.